Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
I realized over the weekend, especially Murphy, that something that you and I have been feeling lately, and that is with our youngest Phoebe coming back home for a couple of weeks. She's only home. She brought all of her stuff from one apartment that she's moving from to our house. It was in the living room for a long time, and then now she's moved it back to the guest bedroom.
And it's about time to leave again,
in 2 weeks, right, she's going to be moving back onto campus, onto a campus and in a new apartment with friends. And you noted it and said it, and you and I have had those conversations about how it's different. Life is about what you get used to. So when the girls moved out, that was very different for us. I think Murphy was really sad at first when we were.
I was. It was like ridiculously quiet, and that's nothing against you. I love our time together, but it was just like, wow.
Well, the first taste of empty nest was really hard for Murphy. It was weird for me, but it was really harder for you.
Yeah,
I guess I think I had mentally prepared myself for it. I think women are famously good at projecting ahead and knowing this is going to feel one way.
I'd agree
Not
with
that
that.
you don't predict it 100% all the time, but I knew how different it was going to be, and I found that I enjoyed the space. Also, they were texting me and calling me. They're still very much in our lives. They just weren't down the hall.
I couldn't get away from them.
No, it's not like I had a void. They were still very much, in my circle.
Yeah.
They just weren't down the hall. But for Murphy, it was about the house being different and feeling different. Well, now we've been empty nesty for a while, and now there's a kid back. That's different too.
Yeah.
It's what you get used to. Do you know that yesterday morning, I woke up like I always do first, let the dogs out, have my coffee. I usually have about an hour of quiet with my coffee. And I was sitting there getting my second cup, and it was brewing. And because of the sound of it coming through the K-cup, I didn't hear Phoebe. And I start to turn to go back into the living room with my cup. She goes, "Hey, Mom." And she scared me. She didn't mean to scare me. But it's been lovely. I'm not complaining, but the fact is, it's what you get used to.
Yeah.
And there's no better story for what you get used to than our neighbors. We used to have these neighbors that we lived next door to years ago. He worked out of the country for months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have children. They were newly married. And he would go away for months at a time. And it was hard for her at first. And then she would get in her groove with him being away. And then he would come back, and they would have a bumpy time when he came back.
Yeah.
She said that happened a couple of times a year. She said, it's difficult for me when he first arrives because my whole routine gets, shaken up. And then when he leaves, he was there for 6 months. So it was bumpy for her both ways, both times.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you adapt. You're right. You get used to different things. What I missed when the girls moved out was, just some of the early day routine things where you would hear, music playing in the bathroom while they're getting ready for, school or whatever,
The noise.
Yeah, just all that noise. And so, I think we've adapted back in the other direction now, too, where I realize...
Man, we like our time.
Yeah, right. I need to be fully dressed taking the dogs out.
Oh, yeah. I've had to tell Taylor and Phoebe, you need to let us know when you're going to pop by and come over. I know you lived here for so many years, but we're here alone now, and so we roll a little differently.
Yeah.
I don't go into
I got it.
Well, I just look a little more like...
Clothing optional.
I look more like Cousin Eddie from Vacation,
Okay. I have a friend, and I went to like a party for her birthday, and I was sitting next to one of her friends that I'd never met before, and she was new to empty nest, and she told me that it was very difficult for her because I think it was her only child, her only son, and he had just left 2 weeks before, and she got emotional telling me that for years they had this beautiful dinner time routine. They would sit at the table, and before they had dinner, they would say a little prayer, a little family prayer. Mm. And she said the first night without him there for that she broke down because it hurt. It was so hard for her, and I was probably not very sympathetic to her because I was like, man, I'm loving empty nest. But different people experience things differently.
Remember when we talked to my mom, and I think she mentioned this, and I've heard this repeatedly over the years, that when they dropped me off at college, and she started crying when they left, and my dad told her, get used to it, he ain't coming home.
Tough love. Tough love from the North household.
Yeah.
It is true, though, that the same thing, the routine you get used to, is also the reason it's important to create a new routine after a change.
Yes.
Really? You know what I mean?
Everything changes.
Yeah, exactly. And so creating a new routine creates a new comfort zone.
I'll tell you something else that Taylor and Phoebe have both said recently, separately, and it goes along with this theme of what we're saying, that it's what you get used to in life, and you have to pivot and change because change is constant. Both of them are living in apartments now, and neither has dogs anymore. When they come home, they're so excited to see Champ and so excited to see Sparky, and both of them have said, I miss having dogs. Mm-hmm. Taylor has dog fever right now, but she's living in a new apartment, and she's not sure with her budget that she can afford the pet deposit and food and vet bills, and I'm like, that's a good decision then.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't come home and love on Champ whenever you want. And Phoebe too. Now Phoebe has a fish, Uncle Fishman, who's living with us right now because she's there too. But I know she's enjoying being with Sparky again. She's letting Sparky sleep in her room sometimes right now. And poor thing, she's going to leave and he's going to have to get used to just us again.
Yeah.
But they're both missing that because they were used to always, think about it, from the time they were little bitty, they've always had dogs.
They've always had dogs. Yeah, they don't know anything any different.
So they're both feeling the void.
Mm-hmm.
I felt with Gus gone for the past 2 months now. Wow,
Yeah,
it's
your
been
dog.
2 months.
It has, Sam.
Yeah, because it's like Gus had a routine, so it's like I was used to getting up and letting Gus out or feeding Gus at this time. With the cat, it's almost like half the time I forget he's there.
Oh, no.
Until he starts making that noise. Because it's like I used to know, don't forget to let Gus out. Don't forget to let Gus out. Because Gus needed, but the cat, I just don't think about.
Cats are more independent, therefore they're a little easier to care for.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. I mean,
And
dogs
usually
are
when
not
I
gonna-
open the door for him, he looks at me and runs the other way.
Why does he run the other way?
I don't know.
Okay.
So I have to catch him and throw him out.
Have you, I'm sorry to change subjects here, but have you been more affectionate to him as we had discussed that he
Yes.
needs?
Yeah, I have been.
Good.
Reluctantly.
Yeah. He won't let me forget that he's still there.
Good. He shouldn't. He's your pet, and he lost Gus too.
Yeah.
And Gus was very important to his world. They were housemates or whatever.
On the routine changes, some of the big ones that I think of are like when you first, right after you graduate from high school, because you have been in the ultimate routine of this every single day, except during summer, going to class and things are laid out for you. Your instructions are given to you, homework and all those things. Yeah. And it feels like there's a crazy silence when that one is done because that part's done,
Now,
You're
what do
so
I do
excited.
next?
You're so excited for that time in your life too, because you have earned it and you can't wait, but you don't know necessarily that there's a potential for you feeling lost.
Yeah.
I remember feeling a major loss at that time.
Especially if your peers and your friends at school are part of the reason you enjoyed going, because then everybody's kind of doing their own thing all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so
if you
you're
did.
used to that rush of energy in the gathering.
Right.
Maybe just a lot of it is the social aspect like you're talking about. The empty nest thing is that same thing. Uh-huh. Losing loved ones certainly, at a different level because
it changes routines and holidays and things like that.
Yeah.
Talking about the high school thing, though, Murphy, it also depends on your experience. I know that there are kids. I have friends who have kids who were grateful to be done with high school because high school was not the social positive experience for them. In fact, it was a social negative experience for them, and they were very glad to put that chapter of their lives behind them.
Really?
So if it's a kid who's in high school and it's not a good chapter of your life, know that chapter will close and a new one is coming. In fact, once you figure some things out, your life is your own now, and you can write your own. You get to choose who you spend time with. So that's a positive of that too. Of things always do change.
Yeah,
they do. So Phoebe's at home now. She's got the dog, and in about 2 weeks, Murphy, she's gonna be gone again.
Well, that'll make it easier to take the dogs out, right?
And the trash.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jody podcast.